They said my American flag was too political. 3 days later, my HOA started fining me $100 a day. I thought it was a mistake, until the letter said lien pending. All of this for refusing to take down one flag from my own home. They said my American flag was too political. That sentence still sounds unreal when I say it out loud. I grew up believing the American flag meant unity, sacrifice, and freedom. My grandfather kept one folded in a wooden case on his mantle, given to our family after my uncle never came home from overseas. My father flew one every morning outside our old house, rain or shine. When I bought my first home, hanging that flag felt less like a statement and more like a tradition, something quietly sacred. The neighborhood was clean, quiet, and boring in the safest way possible. Neatly trimmed lawns, identical mailboxes, kids riding bikes until sunset. A place that looked like the kind of community politicians use in campaign commercials. And like many places that look perfect from the outside, it came with an HOA. At first, the HOA felt invisible. Monthly newsletters about lawn care, reminders to bring trash bins inside, a warning about parking overnight on the street. Annoying, but manageable. Everyone said the same thing. It's the price you pay for property values. So when I mounted a simple flag bracket on my porch and raised the American flag, I didn't think twice. It wasn't oversized. It wasn't torn. It wasn't lit up with floodlights or paired with signs or slogans. Just a standard flag, angled respectfully from the porch beam. The first week, nothing happened. The second week, neighbors waved. The third week, I found the letter. It was taped to my front door, folded neatly, printed on heavy paper. Notice a violation. I remember laughing out loud at first. HOA letters were usually about weeds or fences. Not this. Then I read it. Unauthorized display of political signage or symbols visible from the exterior of the home constitutes a violation of Section 8.3 of the Community Appearance Guidelines. Political signage. My eyes scanned down to the penalty. A fine of $100 will be assessed daily until the violation is corrected. Daily. I reread the letter 3 times, convinced I was missing something. I wasn't flying a campaign flag. I wasn't endorsing a candidate. It was the American flag. I called the HOA management office immediately. After 10 minutes on hold, a woman answered with the kind of tone that told me she had already decided I was wrong. "Yes, sir," she said. "The American flag is considered a political symbol under our guidelines." I felt my stomach drop. "I'm sorry," I said, trying to stay calm. "Are you saying the American flag isn't allowed?" "It's allowed," she replied quickly, "but only in compliance with size, placement, and approval standards. Yours was not pre-approved." "Pre-approved?" "Yes. You were required to submit a request before installation." I asked her if she was serious. She said yes. I asked if this applied to everyone. She said yes. I asked if the fine would be waived. Said? No. That night, I stood on my porch, staring at the flag, gently moving in the wind. It looked the same as it had the day before, quiet, harmless, proud, and somehow it had become a violation. I didn't take it down. That was my first mistake. The next morning, another notice appeared, then another the day after that. By the end of the week, my mailbox contained a statement showing $700 in fines. Neighbors started whispering. One guy across the street pulled me aside while walking his dog. "Hey," he said quietly, glancing around. "You might want to just take it down. They don't mess around." Another neighbor slipped a note into my mailbox. "We support you, but the board is aggressive. Be careful." That word aggressive started to feel like an understatement. I attended my first HOA board meeting the following Tuesday. It was held in a rented room at the community center. Beige walls, folding chairs, a long table where 5 board members sat like judges. When my turn came to speak, I stood up with a violation letter in my hand. "I was fined for flying the American flag," I said plainly. The room went quiet. One board member, a man in his late 50s, with a tight smile, leaned into the microphone. "Sir," he said, "this is not about patriotism. This is about rules. Rules that say the American flag is political." I asked. "It has been used politically," he replied. Therefore, it can be interpreted as such. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Another board member added, "We aim to keep the community neutral." I asked them why several homes had decorative flag sports teams, seasonal designs, even a pirate flag down the block. Those were decorative, they said. Mine was symbolic. The fines would continue. If I refused to pay, late fees would apply. If I continued to refuse, legal action could follow. Liens foreclosure over a flag. That night I posted about it online. I didn't expect much, maybe a few comments, some advice. By morning, the post had thousands of shares. Veterans commented. Military families commented. Lawyers commented. One message stood out. Federal law protects your right to fly the American flag. Look up the Freedom to Display the American Flag Act of 2005. I did, and that's when everything changed. The Freedom to Display the American Flag Act was clear. HOAs could regulate reasonable size and placement, but they could not ban the display of the American flag. I printed the law, highlighted it, attached it to a formal appeal. The HOA rejected it. Their response was brief and cold. Our guidelines remain enforceable. That's when I contacted a local attorney. He read the letters, the fines, the board's responses. "Dennis, my lad, they've overreached," he said. "Badly. As soon as this letter went out, the HOA doubled down. They sent a certified letter threatening a lien. That letter is what pushed this story into the news. A local reporter reached out, then another. Cameras showed up outside my house, and behind me, in every shot, the flag waved. The HOA president released a statement claiming they were being misrepresented. Emails from neighbors flooded my inbox. Some apologized for staying silent. Others admitted they had been fined for smaller things and were afraid. A week later, the HOA's attorney contacted mine. They wanted to settle. I refused. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about principle. The case never went to court. The HOA quietly withdrew the fines. They updated their guidelines. They never apologized, but something changed. Neighbors started pushing back. Board members resigned. Attendance at meetings tripled. As for me, the flag is still there. It hasn't moved. Every morning, when I step outside, I look at it and think about how close I came to backing down and how important it was that I didn't. Because freedom isn't just something we talk about. Sometimes, it's something you have to defend right on your own front porch.